think actually I will start. Okay, so just want to welcome everyone to our first ever Houdini Battle. We've been talking about this a while, but it kind of happened spontaneously after we had kind of an after party on Discord last week after Matt's LA hug, and here we are. Amazing. Okay, I just want to introduce everybody first. So who are the players? Peter Claes. Peter is currently at Infinity Ward as an expert technical artist. This is, Peter, you went from film to commercials and now games. So the trifecta for you. It's incredible, very impressive. Nema Safvati. Nema also works in the games and at Blizzard right now, and previously he worked on commercials, worked at many places in LA, Mill, MPC, PSYOP, and Digital Domain. William Harvey goes by Harvey. He has been working in Houdini and games in VR for the past 4 years, currently at Exit Reality VR. And Jankowiak, I hope I said that right?
Close.
We call him Janks. And he's an effects artist studying at Drexel University. He's our student player. I am so impressed that he has the courage to join us tonight. So thank you, Janks, for being a part of this. And he also has done an LA hug. So has Nema and so has Peter. Maitland, who goes by Danger Kitty and Jericho Benton, is a musician and game artist. Okay, so those are the players. So thank you so much for your participation. It's going to be so fun. We can't wait to see your work. Next, the commentators. We have Remi Pierre, currently a Houdini Pipeline TD at Digital Domain in Vancouver. Thank you for joining us. And Justin Dykhouse, our co-organizer for LA Hug, who also works in VR, AR, Houdini, Unity, all of the above, right? And exactly. All kinds of other cool stuff.
Very well put.
Works at Magnopus in LA. Okay. So here are the rules for all the players. Okay. When we announce what it's going to be that you guys are going to do, you really should plan out first on pencil and paper. The more you plan, the better. Go online, Google, get some reference, make a sketch, whatever your like pre-production process is. Because not only is this a Houdini challenge, it's definitely a design challenge. It's going to be a design challenge for sure. No using of external assets like mega scans. Using reference as inspiration is fine, but don't copy anyone else's artwork. We want original stuff. Using sidefx labs is great. You can sim, that's fine. But remember, this is 45 minutes. So another challenge is time management, right? Like, how are you going to use the time? No pre-built personal assets, but micro tools are okay. And yeah, building an asset from scratch and reusing that is fine. So, and thanks Peter for helping with the rules. Okay, at this point, we are going to announce what the thing is. Actually, no, wait, that's okay. I don't want to reveal it quite yet.
So Danger Kitty, your Houdini is mirrored so far.
Yeah.
The Houdini is mirrored.
So that may be a problem.
Oh, you mean it's flipped?
Oh, you have Maitland's.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's not screen share, it's just his webcam, that's why.
Yeah, so we'll have to use our other part of our brain to understand it. Okay. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna need in the chat, in the chat, Zoom chat, I would like someone from the audience. I need 2 numbers. I need 2 random numbers from the audience. Okay, good. I got a 45 and a 5. Thank you, guys. I'll take the first 2. A 5 and a 45. Okay, 2 random numbers. Here we go. Now, here are, and everyone, get ready to share your screens. I'm going to share mine now. Here are the themes, okay?
And thank you to the for the wonderful HDA, which allows
yes,
us to
of course, Peter again. So we have fantasy, we have steampunk, haunted, Art Deco. Those are our themes. Sci-fi, I missed sci-fi. I knew there was one more. Okay. These are our themes. Sci-fi, Art Deco, haunted. Okay. Actually, what I'll do is
just put the seed in it.
I'm gonna say, so these are the objects. We have a birthday cake, a plant, a clock, a scepter, and an orb for the objects. And for the theme, sci-fi, steampunk, fantasy, haunted, Art Deco. That's easier to understand. Okay. Now, I have 5 and 45. Themes, I'm putting the seed at 5. Objects are going to get a 45. Thank you, everybody. And here we go.
Let's roll it.
Roll the die. Oh my God, I'm nervous.
No, you're doing great, and this is so fun. I love watching this thing run.
A sci-fi plant. Oh my God! Wait, is it true? We have a sci-fi plant. Okay,
excellent.
So sci-fi plant, everybody. Okay, so this is the challenge, and all players share your screens.
Okay.
Now, for anyone that is not familiar with Zoom, this is very important. You guys have the ability to look at any player's screens, which is pretty cool.
Hey, Debra, we're starting, yeah? Are we starting or not yet?
Share your screens first, and then I'm going to say on your mark, get ready, go.
All right.
Everyone share your screens.
Yeah, they're all shared.
Okay, I'm stopping mine. Now, everybody should see, if you go to the very top of your screen, view options, you can see all the players, okay? So let me know if you have any problems with that. View options at the top, see all your players. Okay, on your marks, get set, go.
Okie dokie.
And with an okie dokie, we start the very first Houdini battle. I love it. We've got our theme, sci-fi plant. There's going to be a little bit at the beginning here when I think people are going to be doing a little bit of research.
Guys, I'm going to take off my headphones now.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely. Any participants who want to take off their headphones or otherwise, what we'll do is we'll let you know in the chat if we have anything we need to tell you. And we'll give you a heads up when there's about 5 minutes left in the challenge so that you're not caught out. Again, everybody can just see the different screens under view options. Probably not a lot to see right off the bat, but the idea of this is to allow you to kind of poke around and peruse and just watch, follow anybody that you want. As we go, Remi and I will be discussing, various things that are happening on screen. So if you're not super familiar with Houdini, you'd like a little bit of explanation. Hopefully that's what we'll be able to provide for you. And feel free to follow us as we go from screen to screen and sort of announce what's going on. So
we will announce who we're going to look at. And you
right,
should
we'll
follow
say,
it if you want to. If you don't want to, well, don't. Okay.
The choice is yours. So you can follow us. We'll say, oh yeah, we're looking over at Nema's screen or looking at Danger Kitty's screen and that kind of thing. We'll try and keep you appraised of where we are. So Remi, what do you think about this theme?
It's rather strange. I'm I'm really looking forward to see what people come up with, because the science fiction plans, that could be fun.
Absolutely.
I can see we have 2 strategies already. Have people looking for reference. So Peter and Harvey are looking for reference, which I think is a really good idea to come up with some ideas. And we have Nema that's already doing something with VDB from polygons.
He's jumping right in.
Super hydrolyzed. So he already has an idea. That's like he saw the subject and was like, let's go for it.
He was ready to go. So again, we're looking at Nema's screen, and he's already got a few nodes up on the board, which is always nice to see. Although I like Peter's strategy of gathering some reference and creating a look board as well.
I was just gonna say, I love seeing the points up on Nema's screen. That's really good.
The points up, yeah, that's a classic.
That's a classic.
So it looks like he's obviously created a box. He's going to be doing a couple of things with that. He's doing some, let's see, he's scattered into the VDB. So he's creating a bunch of points inside of a volume defined by that box that he laid down. Then he's grouping some of the points together. And
he's trying to make the shape of a plant using
he's putting down
with find shortest path. That's really good.
Exactly. So a find shortest path is an interesting SOP. It'll take a couple of points that you give it, and it'll make the shortest point in between them using the edges of the polygons that you give it. So in this case, he's put down a volume, and it's finding a shortest path through that volume, which kind of looks a little bit random, but it also looks a little bit organized too. It's a good choice for a plant if that's the direction he ends up going. So let's see.
Really fast.
Yeah, he's a fast one. Unless he's playing back a video.
He prepared it in
exactly,
advance.
Yeah. He made one of each different kind of theme just in case.
The themes we chose 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Looking over at Jank's screen, I think it's really interesting. He's kind of working with tube. He's kind of like getting what maybe the overall shape of the stem or the base of the plant is going to be, and looks like he's jumping right into geometry. So he's going to be working from a polygonal stance here, which I think is an interesting choice. I think probably a good choice if you have clear in your mind the direction you kind of want to go. So I'm curious to see, or maybe he's creating a pot for it. I don't know. We'll see.
It could be. Could just be a pot. I'm curious about is it a cloud? Or you can't really see it.
Yeah.
Going to make a second volume. Just a good procedural way of modeling. It's just going to convert everything to an SDF and get everything together to have one mesh, most likely.
I like that. And he's Janks has done a really good solid thing, which is to take the height of your tube and make a reference to that in the Y position. And if you then divide that value by 2, then no matter what values you put in the height, the pot will always be or the tube will always be sitting on the ground plane as you move it up and down. And because that's something you often need to do, it's just a handy way to start that out. So it's kind of neat. Let's see. Looking at Peter Claes' screen now, he's actually, it looks like he's laid down his first node. So he's gathered his reference, and I'm really curious to see what he does. I like that he's got his, Peter's got his node view laid out with dots as well. He likes to keep it very organized. I appreciate that.
He has a battle mode layout.
Oh, that's right. It's
the better mode layout.
If you look in the upper left-hand quadrant, you're right. He's got a layout called battle mode. Well, that's really intimidating. I like that. We'll see if the time he invested in the pre-production, so to speak, it will pay off. I have a suspicion that it will, but let's see.
Good ideas is usually a better option.
Right. Let's see.
Let's have a look at Harvey, maybe?
Sure. That's great. Okay, I think I saw some reference up on Harvey's screen. Now, is Harvey is he in Linux? I'm not sure. think that desktop looks a little bit different than. Oh,
Oh,
no,
that's
he's in
Windows.
Windows. Okay.
That's Windows.
All right. Sure enough, I just saw the Windows
That's
logo
a
in the
really
corner. It
cool
just,
reference he found there.
oh, look at that. That is sci-fi and a plant, so that definitely answers it.
And
So-
large scale. So let's see. Let's see if he manages to do something large scale in 45 minutes.
Yeah. We've got
Really
another convert to VDB, so that's great. Let's see. Looks like he's creating a base here. Attribute randomize, really helpful SOP as well. It's handy to put down and get random values in any particular attribute that you'd like. There's also an attribute noise in case you want your noise to be a little bit more cohesive, or your results to be a little bit more cohesive. But attribute randomize and attribute noise, both extremely useful SOPs. Always like seeing those. And we have a wrangle.
There we go. Let's get some code going.
Yeah, all right.
Well, maybe not.
Nope, he's thought better of it. Can't say I blame him. No, very, very handy to have the wrangle nodes. They can be a little bit intimidating at first. I remember when I was a new user, I was always a little bit afraid of Vex, but honestly, just being comfortable reading it kind of helps. And being able to write little 1 or 2 line wrangles will help you so much in your path. So if you're watching and you're learning Houdini or you're curious about it, don't be
Houdini
afraid.
crashed. First crash of the
We have our
day.
first crash. All right.
There you go.
Should give a little shout out at the end there.
All right, let's switch to Jankowiak, I guess,
All right.
while he's restarting his Houdini. Ooh, we already have, is it like an L system or?
Oh, let's see.
Wait, what?
Quick tree. A quick tree node. Interesting.
Oh, that I had no clue this existed. That's really cool.
Boy, the boys in the lab just working overtime. Look at this.
Look at these nodes. We don't need artists anymore. We just grab labs and it's done.
I love it. It's a natural for a plant challenge too. That's perfect. Let's see. Was that a diving inside of a node there? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd be curious to break that open on my own time and see what's in that quick tree. That seems really cool.
It does.
Okay, here we are inside of quick tree, and I don't expect we'll get a good overview of it, but he's looking for something particular here. I wonder what he's trying to find. What an interesting node. I don't know when they added that one actually. I think Paul's here. Maybe. Oh, yep. Paul called it out already using QuickTree. Paul, can you tell us a little bit about QuickTree? Just put it in the chat there if you can. And it looks like he's populating it with some leaves. Okay.
Really interesting node. 3 grids and 3 curves.
Oh.
Why 3? I don't know, but that's the number.
So Paul is saying in the chat, it's the node Scott Keating built for the Houdini 18 launch presentation. Okay, so he built the HDA and then he used that for the demo and then you guys included it in the labs. That's super cool.
I'm pretty sure a few of us wish we had that at some point a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that seems like one of those nodes that just solves a problem that a lot of people have over and over again. So that's great.
Importing something from SpeedTree, I'm trying to remesh it and get all the leads and making a skeleton of it, trying to animate it. That's not fun. Well, it is, but.
I was going to say it sounds like fun to me, but what do we know? So here he is drawing a curve. I'm assuming he's going to be drawing a curve that he wants maybe the spine of the tree, so to speak, to follow. I'll be curious to see how that develops as it goes. Let's.
It does create a tree depending on the curve. That's amazing.
Wow, that's great. So he's kind of defined the overall shape that he wants, and then he gives that to the node, and then it's able to follow it. Yeah, look at that. Well, there's a lot of directions he could go with this. That's a really cool. I'll be interested to see how this goes.
All right. Should we have a look at Jonathan, maybe?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I think we have a pot, or maybe he's making a can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a can, I guess.
It does look like a can with those ribbed, the ribbed indentations there to provide it a little bit of extra structural strength. That's cool. So maybe a little can, something growing out of a little coffee can or something like that.
Maybe it's going for Fallout or something like that for the theme.
Oh.
Science fiction, after all.
Yeah, right. Or Wall-E, where he's got the plant in the little pot. Let's see.
A bunch of screws and metal stuff coming out of it.
Yeah, right. And it looks like he's remeshed that pot to a pretty dense mesh there. I wonder if he's going to be doing some like noising of the surface or something like that.
Okay.
Very interesting. I like this because I get the sense that he's got a really solid thing that he's kind of driving toward. And I'm not seeing it all at once. I'm seeing like little pieces of it. I think that's really interesting to watch him work in this way.
He has organized already his file, which is really good. He has made a different object, geometry object node, and he's starting to organize his scene instead of making, like a lot of people making one SUP and then everything in it.
Yeah, he's already thinking ahead to how it's all going to be sort of put together as a file. That's a really good point. And that's so important too, to be able to organize that stuff in case anybody else is working on it. But I know I personally, and I'm sure everybody here, you come back to a file after a couple months, you're not going to remember where everything is. So do yourself a favor and organize.
And safe pipeline, their sanity with that as well.
Absolutely. Taryn in the chat wants to know who's winning.
So who's winning?
Who's winning?
Everyone is winning. We're just wasting our time on Zoom watching people doing something awesome in Houdini.
Everyone who's participating is a winner. That's what I'll say to that one. So I'm looking at. Let's hop over to Nema's screen real quick. I was really interested to see.
We didn't see him for a while.
Yeah, let's look at Nema. Now I was interested because he looked like he was laying down nodes with extreme speed. So I'd be interested to see kind of how far along he is. We're several layers deep now. I'm looking at his breadcrumb bar there at the top, and we're in geometry inside of a solver, and then inside of that we're inside of something, and then inside of something else, and then a point pop in there. We're really drilling down here. It's like Inception.
30 minutes left, everyone.
30 minutes.
I'll type it on the Discord for Peter. It's not listening.
Oh, he's not on the chat. Yeah, that's possibly a smart thing if you get a little. I myself might get a little bit distracted.
That's an interesting question. So there's no render. No render of is supposed to be happening, especially within 45 minutes. It would be really difficult to have a nice render. And some people thought that if someone has a better machine, it would give them an edge. So no render, just viewport so for now.
And Ben is saying, is optimizing and planning for future use important in a short time challenge though? Well, I think if you're looking at it from the point of view of who's, of being an effective Houdini artist and using the procedural power of the program, then yeah, that is actually part of it. We want to see well-formed files as well as well-formed renders. But that said, that's just kind of an informal, that's my opinion. We don't have the ground rules set for what makes a winner yet. But yeah,
it's just a vote. We're just going to vote.
Well, I guess I still don't get an answer as to what Nema's working
Yeah, I
on
have
yet.
no clue what he's doing either.
Who should we look at next?
Well, just go in the latest. Let's look at Peter. He was just laying the bare basics earlier.
All right, so
And now he already has like some kind of spaceship.
Oh my God! Looking here at Peter's screen, he's already
you can
got
tell
some.
he has worked in commercials. It's really fast.
Look at that! It's already got some personality to it too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the plant. It's like the. I forgot. I don't know the name. Sorry.
The Venus flytrap. There you go. The Venus flytrap is what it looks like. Yeah, it's very cool. I bet that's going to be very controllable as well. Now he's already got this sort of the rough shape. He's looking at it from a few different angles.
Wow, very nice.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, but we planned it out nicely.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really interesting because I'm seeing a lot of like transforms and a lot of like modeling SOPs in here. I'm not seeing a lot of like more advanced kind of stuff. Not seeing it. So like, you know, solving the problem or creating a plant with a fine shortest distance versus sort of creating like an animatable sort of person, you know, plant with a lot of personality. I think it's really cool seeing the variety of ways that people take this challenge on and the way that they work inside of Houdini.
It's really nice to see really different strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. Peter's with very precise movements also. Not that surprise there. Very efficient use of the screen space.
With just one transform node, there you go. You have the object looks completely different now.
Yeah.
Ooh, a delta mush.
Oh, delta mush. I always like seeing a delta mush.
Oh yeah, that's a nice trick.
I love that.
Using a delta mush with a curve, I've never done that before. I will probably try it one day.
I'm just enthralled here, actually.
I'm also amazed. I had no clue you could do that.
So we got, I saw a font SOP in there too. Is he gonna, now we get a look at his mood board. Okay.
Really good.
So we've got the pipes in there, then we've got the fly trap, sure enough. And what looks like some sheets of metal too.
Should we look at someone else?
For sure. Yeah, call it out. Who would you like to look at? Harvey?
Just go through the list.
Okay.
Ooh, what are we looking at?
Oh, all right. Now looking at Harvey's screen, I can see that he's definitely leaning on the VDB side of things. So we've got some really interesting kind of blobby shapes going on here, which is always a good place to start from if you want to make something biological.
Almost looks like metaballs right now.
I feel like I'm seeing a bit more experimentation in this node graph. You'll notice there's a lot of stuff that's at the same kind of level and stuff that's being piped into other stuff that was laid down earlier, and then you lay something else down and you pipe something else in there. So whenever I see the little arrow appearing on my connections between my SOPs, because one of them is going up instead of down, I immediately say, oh, well, I can't have that. I have to rearrange everything. But in the
that as well.
Exactly, yeah. But in the sort of the frenzy to like get your ideas out, sometimes it has to get a little bit messy. You know, it's just got to get a little messy.
Oh, the famous attribute blur. Be careful about this noise. It's using OpenCL. You may get your results may not be deterministic anymure. So if you ever use that with simulations, you may never get the same simulation again.
Is that right?
So, well, experimenting that with CFX, digital domain.
Huh. That's really interesting.
Because it's a really fast node. It's a really good node. But yeah, if the values are never going to be exactly the same on the float value, so you end up with slightly different simulations.
Oh, that sounds like something that I'd be pulling my hair out before I figured to look at the.
Well, look at me.
That's where it all went. That's a really good tip. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to write that down. Thank you.
Oh, that's really good looking.
Oh, look at that. All right.
That's
now we've
really
got
cool.
something. Here on Harvey's screen.
On it.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, Harvey's got something going on for sure. It almost looks like crystals, but then it kind of looks like little succulent plants or something. Oh, that's great.
You can tell he does understand unified noise. He knows what he's doing. He's just testing out.
Yeah, unified noise has kept me at bay as well. I got to be honest with you, just because I feel like I don't quite grasp how to use it. And a lot of times it ends up looking like it's taking a lot longer to calculate than I would like. And that may very well be something I could probably do something about, but I haven't learned it quite yet. So one of these days I'll have to devote a little time to the old unified noise.
And you have to go in VOPs, which is always a pain.
Yeah. Good old VOPs. You always think you're just going for a visit, but really you're going to be staying for a while.
It's always good for noise. It's much better than a wrangle and just losing your time trying to put all the different variables you need.
That is a good point. If you know you're going to be dealing with noise, which is of course a lot of the work that we do, then a VOP can be a really good choice. You're right, because it gives you a lot of the noises just ready to rock. And instead of a wrangle where you kind of have to manually write them out and give yourself the controls and all that kind of stuff, a VOP will kind of get you on the way right away. So good, important sort of differentiation to make between a wrangle and a VOP. Another question that we get a lot at the LA. I gotta say, I think this is a really interesting shape he's getting here. It's very Giger-esque. It's like kind of bio, but also mechanical at the same time. It's really neat.
I'm looking at the chat because I haven't been really following, just in case there are some questions. So no poll, there's no prize for the winner so far. Yeah, we didn't think ahead.
Right, bragging rights, I think, is the prize.
Bragging rights is already good. Houdini swag would be amazing, gotta say.
We'll give everybody a t-shirt.
There you go.
I think my favorite, actually, I don't have it out, but my favorite thing that I have is a Houdini coffee mug. Oh no, you know what? My current favorite thing that I have, I got a Houdini mouse pad, extra large.
Oh, I don't have it. Where is it?
No idea why it's so large.
20 minutes.
Oh, are we at 40 minutes?
20 minutes left.
20 minutes. There you go. With all the shortcuts of Houdini.
Oh, Ben has promised a Houdini mouse pad for the winner of this challenge. So there you go. Bragging rights and a mouse pad. There's literally nothing better than either of those things. Let's take a little look here. Let's go back up to Danger Kitty and see what's going on.
Oh, let's see how the spot is going.
Oh, look at that.
It's really precise. It feels like, like he's making a bonsai.
Mm-hmm.
Like pulling all the strings and making it exactly how he wants it to look like.
Yeah, Danger Kitty's definitely, he spent some time kind of figuring out exactly the look and the profile that he's going for, and being able to draw that curve and then have the tree follow it. It's a huge advantage here. He's able to design it sort of from the ground up. And I think we're ending up with a really sort of very carefully created piece here. I think this is really going to be a neat one. I wonder what that profile is that he's got on the ground there.
It's probably a leaf.
Oh, okay, true enough.
I'm pretty sure he's going to scatter a bunch of leaves on this tree. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I was wrong. That's really neat.
Oh, a copy and transform. Oh, I think he is. I think he's creating a flower. I think maybe those are petals for a flower. The copy and transform node is a very simple one, but I find that one really rewarding too. You can lay down an object and then tell it how many copies to make and what transform to affect each of them with. And so you end up with something kind of spreading out, this beautiful sort of geometric shape, very appropriate for a flower or plant or something like that. Really cool.
Oh, you actually used the bend to make the shape. So you probably just made some kind of curve and bent it to look like exactly how you want it. Oh no, it didn't bend it yet.
The changes that they made to the bend stop, I think in 17, make it really a little easier to work with. It was already a powerful node, but now it's a little easier to work with, a little easier to visualize. I think it's really good to include that in a workflow. So I think this is really going to be a very pretty thing that he's got going on here.
But we're gonna see what's going to make it sci-fi.
Very true.
It's just a flower.
he's got the plant part, definitely.
Oh, it looks like a tree. Oh no. I see the contestants have their things going. So should we look at Jonathan?
Yeah, let's take a look. So looking at Jonathan's screen.
Looks like we have a big.
Oh, we've got a for loop.
Of.
Looks like he's trying to solve a
Section
topology
analysis.
problem. Yeah, I think he's trying to create the back of something interesting. He's in topology hell. Oh, Paul has brought up a good point. We're hoping that all the contestants who are listening are saving their files once in a while.
Yeah, because it's not like someone experienced a crash earlier.
Yeah. A crash at the wrong time could really take you out of this competition, unfortunately. Oh, okay. So he's got a few of those things kind of coming up. I dare say they look like suckers that one would see on a tentacle. Oh, shit, sure enough.
It's a tentacle with some. Oh.
Look at this. Well, his topology on the tentacle is really pretty good, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Very nice. Paul is reminding everyone that if you do crash, Labs has a new menu entry under File. You can open the crash file. So,
oh, that's in Labs? I saw it earlier and was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's handy. I have used it a few times. Gets you right back on the road. Very nice. I think that this answers how he's going to pull in the sci-fi theme. If we've got a tentacle coming out of a flower pot.
Funny, he prepared a grid as if he's going to render it.
Mm.
Just no.
I wonder if he's going to be doing creating multiples of that tentacle. If he's proceduralized it along a path or something like that, we'll be seeing multiple of them coming out.
And that could be another way of creating these tentacles, while we could just use the tree sop, or forgot how they called it.
Again, seeing these different approaches and getting to see these players' creativity kind of coming out in real time is a real privilege. This is a lot of fun. Let's see.
And remember, you're always going to learn from someone working in Houdini, even a student, even someone that's completely new to the program. It may be something dumb. It may just be a shortcut you didn't know. It may be this node you've never seen before. And it's anyone. I don't think only really old Houdini users are the only people that can teach you something in Houdini. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
we've got a crash.
Oh, we've got a crash. I hope we had a recent save. Oh my goodness.
15 minutes.
Oh, 15
oh, it's a
minutes.
bad crash. Even his shared
Another
screen
crash.
Crashed. So.
Oh boy.
Should we go to Nema?
Sure. Let's see what Nema's got cooking for. Oh, we're back in Vops.
Oh, back in Vops, and he's doing a point cloud.
Now he was in this point Vop the last time we visited him, I think.
I think he's only doing point Vops all over the place. Earlier he was naming them. I think he kind of stopped.
and he's yeah. After a while, you have to sacrifice a bit. Now, Nema did some really excellent work on the Blizzard cinematic for the launch of Diablo 4, which he presented to us a couple of months ago at the LA Hug, and he did some beautiful work with very complex shapes sort of branching, growing together. And I think that's probably going to be a good fit for the sci-fi plan. Oh, yep,
Oh,
sure
that's
enough.
really good
Here he
looking.
goes. Okay. So we've got kind of a sort of a sci-fi kind of tumbleweed almost. Really interesting, beautiful shapes here too. I love that he's visualizing it on a black background with magenta lines. It just looks fetching, you know.
That's the kind of thing you render it and it doesn't look as good as the viewport.
It's true.
You're like, oh, damn it.
I have had that. I have had that. Unfortunately, I took it as a note on my my rendering ability. So if the render doesn't look as good as the viewport, you're doing something wrong with the render.
Well, haven't we all? I did manage to find some images that were just from a play blast.
Did you?
Yeah, on Prometheus.
Oh, all right.
Hey, so you know.
That's great. I like the viewport myself. Wow, that's incredible. You actually finaled some stuff from a play blast. That's hilarious. Where were you working at that time?
It was at NPC.
NPC, awesome.
So it was not Houdini. I wish it
that was Maya, I'm guessing.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Years ago now.
It's funny. I call them play blasts in Houdini, even though I know they're flip books. I just call them play blasts because that's sort of what everybody says. It's play blast.
Can say either. Don't think it matters too much.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. So now in a wrangle here, he's got. Let's see. He's increasing the age.
It's funny. He does go for wrangles, but not all the time.
Yeah, and then he's got a couple wrangles in a row here. He's got a point and a primitive, or at least that's how they started out.
A simple attribute. He's just going to use a wrangle because it's way faster than making a VOP.
Yeah, and if you know exactly what you're going for, then a wrangle is definitely your choice. If you want to do some experimentation or you're working with noise, then a VOP is kind of your best first step. Yeah. Now I got to say, this is just a personal preference, but I really like the way Nema lays out his network view. I use that same configuration of like things where it's like it's got a curve to it instead of the node connections going straight. They sort of curved. I just think it looks better. It looks a little bit more sophisticated. I like that he does it that way. And I also like how comfortable he is working at these low levels. He'll create a VOP to do just a couple of things, and then he'll create a couple of wrangles in a row. It's really going to turn out well, I think. He's
also really using Control B a lot. So he's just focusing just on the network and leaving everything out. That's also good because it does not recompute when you do that. Since the viewport is not there, it doesn't recompute. That's a nice trick if you don't really want to use the manual mode of Houdini. You can just Control B and focus on the network.
I see. So you're talking about how he's increasing the size of his network view to take up the whole screen by hitting Control B, and then he can have a lot more real estate. That's also good for us playing along at home here. That's another good tip. Thank you for that one.
10 minutes.
All right.
Coming down to the wire.
Let's look at Peter. He had an interesting. We gotta tell Peter as well.
Looking at Peter's screen here, I see he's got the same sort of the upper shell of the fly trap, if that's what it is, and then he's connecting up a bunch of stuff.
I gotta say, that's a mess. If someone looked at this file, would be like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, that is the technical term. And it's funny because I was saying, I like that he has the dots on his network view, but I don't think he's using them.
He's not using them. Usually he snaps to them.
He just has them. Oh, we have a couple of these creatures now. All right.
Maybe have a camera to actually have a view of that he wants at the end.
Yeah, and he's got a for each also.
Oh, yeah, a long curve. Oh, I've never seen this node.
Orient along curve. Yeah, I wonder I don't think I've used that either. I imagine it to be something like a polyframe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Was that?
I guess it's creating the tangents and yeah, it's probably like
Yeah.
the polyframe. Maybe it's a new node. But
Tangents along curves, so then he can put stuff there and it'll sort of orient itself along there. Probably a good way to make some details. Yeah, Nick De Silva in the chat says, I feel like it would take a whole day to come up with what they were doing in 40 minutes. You got that right.
a whole day, well, it take me weeks. It was still in 16.5 at the digital domain, so it would take weeks.
Oh God.
That's why I don't know all these nodes.
Let's see who else we've got here. Who haven't we looked in on in a moment? Should we go down to Harvey?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just kind of check
Like
in on
Jonathan
everybody.
is not back yet. Should we check on it?
Who is? Oh yeah, we are missing one, aren't we? Oh my goodness.
Let's see what's Harvey doing. Oh, that's really good. That actually looks like the reference he was looking at earlier.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's got a seabed or some coral or
really
something.
Cool. That's really good colors. I really like it.
He's doing a procedural coloring there, and now he's gonna lay down an attribute. Excuse me, an attribute transfer. Very useful node where you can transfer attributes from one point to another just based on their proximity to each other. Find all kinds of contexts in which to use that.
You should put the Mario that's coming out.
Yeah, we should have the Venus flytrap from Peter coming out of one of them. It'll look like a chomp. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. It's kind of disgusting in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the choice of colors. It's very
very grungy.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's innards. Very cool. Oh, and we're going into polyreduce time because we've been working with the VDBs, convert to VDB. So obviously you come out of that with a lot of geometry. So a good polyreduce is always a good step after that, to be able to take your geometry down from millions of primitives down to, a few 10,000 or so. We'll see.
There are also the new nodes, so the quad remesher and instant meshes that can also create some kind of nice geometry from any geometry. It could create quads. That's really useful if you ever need to remesh something that's coming from a scan or whatever. Output quads as well.
Lovely. That's the quad remesher node?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Quad remesher only works on Windows.
Oh, is it a
So
separate program or something?
Labs node. These two nodes are labs nodes.
Ah, okay.
They're actually third-party software. It's just Houdini is connecting to it. And yeah, that's really nice. If you ever need to remesh something, that's much better than the remesh node.
Oh, that's great to know.
If you're working with cloth, go for it, because you do want to have nice topology on your cloth.
Very important. You don't want that rucking up and looking weird. Okay, so now he's doing a little bit of organization here. I like to see that. A little cleanup. Very good.
5 minutes.
Oof. Oh boy. The SAP was quad remesher that we were just talking about. Stuart in the chat asked about that. Let's do a quick peek at Danger Kitty as well, since we're coming down to the wire here.
Had a nice flower going. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's really pretty, actually. And I like the vase. It harkens back to the early days of CG when you could
exactly. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's neat.
Like Amiga, you just need an Amiga logo on it.
Exactly. Now I wonder if he's going to be doing any. Oh no, he's adding something to his. Now he's gone in whole hog on this basic tree, on the quick tree. He's not only broken into it and changing stuff, he's adding stuff to it as well. I think that's a really interesting strategy.
You can tell someone has a lot of experience when they do that. Like, oh, I know what's going on in there. I just change it a little bit.
Absolutely. And we've got an axis align I see in there too. I find that to be a really handy node. Axis align will take any geometry that you give it and it will align it to the origin of the world in a way that is really handy, and it's procedural. Anything that you pass through it, even if it's animated, it'll align itself to the center, which a lot of times comes in very handy. So,
oh yeah, like aligning to the aligning a box at the bottom of the world. That's really good. Yeah.
exactly. So to like set it on the origin or in the middle. It's just a very handy bread and butter kind of node. Now he's got a node graph that actually kind of looks like a tree too. I think that's.
In fact, the node graph should be his output.
Yeah. That would have been a good interpretation. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh yeah, that was actually a good idea. Just make it in the node.
Yeah, because that's sci-fi. What you're able to do with the program.
Make flowers with the for each.
Right. Those are the leaves, the flowers at the end. That's cute. His color choice is also really interesting too. He's put down some color nodes in here, some to put the color attribute onto the points or primitives.
I actually don't know how he's getting the shading because it's kind of weird. I don't know if he ramped it. Or did he choose just a few points to put the color on and then it just fades?
I think that might be shadow or
there he
highlight
is.
from
He's
the.
showing what he did.
Oh,
Nice.
oh my goodness! Look at that.
Sinus. It's
Whew.
interesting.
He's doing a sine function on the channel, the slider that he's giving it, so then he can tweak it, but it also is very sort of mathematically precise and quick to figure. But then you have that combination of quickness and control. That's really good to see. All right, Danger Kitty.
All right, we only have a few minutes left, so let's look at Jonathan since he's back.
All right.
Oh. I hope he's not restarting.
He might not have gotten a save close enough to that crash.
Oh, it's just
no,
behind.
there it is.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Good.
that makes me happy.
Oh, there you go. That's looking really good.
And now we're putting a few.
Tentacles are gorgeous.
Yeah, the tentacles look great, actually. Putting a few grids in there, maybe as additional geo to kind of break up the silhouette. Maybe some leaves poking out of there.
Maybe.
Now he's pinning the bottom points on that grid. He's adding it to a group called pin. And then I'm guessing that he'll be using that to kind of hold that in place and then do some kind of operation to the rest of the points to move or relax them, to arrange them in some way. But so that bottom group, the pin group, will stay put. We'll see what that'll be.
Okay, we got less than a minute, you guys. 30 seconds.
Let's look at Nema. He
38
has
seconds.
something amazing on his
We're
screen.
almost.
All right, we're flipping over to Nema's screen here. He's got
There we
nested.
go.
He's got a compile block.
Beautiful.
Oh my God! Look
Gorgeous.
at that. The growth of the
Damn.
plant there. He's got nested for loops. He's got a compile block.
Gorgeous.
He's got it all going on.
Gorgeous.
It's a solver, so
Okay.
it's actually growing.
Got
All right, and that's time.
10 seconds.
Oh, almost time.
I mean,
Should we
5.
have everyone just show their result?
yep. 3, 2,
2,
1. Mouse is down.
Mouse is down, everyone. All right.
Okay.
Everyone has got their mouses down.
Just show your work. It's fine to show
It's
the work.
time to
There's no
show the
point
work.
anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pete, somebody got to let Peter know. I don't think he knows to go mouses
Yeah.
down quite yet. So he was somebody who can chat to him on Discord and let him know. He's focused.
He's cheating.
Oh no, mouse down. Oh my God, look at that.
How can we? Oh, we can. I don't know.
Right.
Am I still sharing my screen? My bad.
He's in the zone. I don't know. I would love to give him 5 more minutes. It looks good what he's doing.
Well, but that's
I mean,
not.
it looks like the 45 minutes matters too much.
No, we gotta.
Uh,
Somebody put a stop to this.
I tried.
Well, he was working still. We're
Uh,
still going.
we can't get a hold of Peter.
Going until he realizes it's over.
Wait, how? I
Hey.
can't see anyone anymore.
We'll get it. We'll get him eventually.
Wait, is he talking? No. Yeah, I think he's still talking.
Talking?
Yeah. I thought I heard him talk. Oh, there we
Okay.
go. That's how you see. My Houdini crashed halfway through, and I think it stopped sharing my screen for a little bit.
Yeah, we saw that. It was quite a dropout. It was our first wipeout.
Yeah.
When we finally looked at your screen, we felt you actually lost your file because you were just modeling something on the side.
Alright, guys, I'm back. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Woo! Awesome. Okay, so good job, everybody. Let's
Congratulations.
go. Congratulations. So let's go through everyone. Everyone talk quickly. We'll start with Danger Kitty. You want to? Hey, great work. You want to explain what kind of sci-fi plant we got here?
Well, I didn't. Yeah. I was actually enjoying listening to the commentary. By the way, that made it like so much more fun for me. Yeah, I just typed sci-fi plant into a thing, and then I kind of like that gave me the idea because I don't know, it had something that came up was like had a little pod thing, and there was little leaves down here, but then I don't know. And then I just remembered that the tree node was a thing that I played with just the other day, and so I was like, well, that seems like useful. So yeah, I just drew some little curves. I drew a little, and I love that you mentioned the Amiga. You need an Amiga logo. I was like, I always think, my parents bought me a 286 PC instead of an Amiga when I was a kid, and I think it like, you know, it really affected me. Like, and so I've always just like wanted an Amiga, you know. So then I didn't really know how the tree node worked, and you know, it's like, well, like there's not really. I mean, it's made for games, so you would just really texture the leaves with like a color map and a whatever other texture maps normally, but but I wanted to copy things to it, so I just went ahead and used this down here. But what I wanted to do, and I didn't have time to, was make them into little gears. So then, you know, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like make little gears.
Sure.
Little gears growing off the plant. So then it would be sci-fi. So yeah, that was that was the next thing I was fixing to do. But you know, gimbal's locked. So
congratulations! It really looks great.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful piece. Great job.
Congratulate sidefx Labs. And I don't know, the revolt. I like NURBS curves too. I don't know. I know it's like old school, but they make nice curvy curves. Yeah. So and I drew out the curves for the plant with the NURBS curves also. Actually, I drew out everything that I drew with NURBS curves because they're fun. They make
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Cool. Let's go now to Harvey.
Oh, howdy.
Hi.
I think some people stopped sharing their screen. You need to show your results.
Yeah, we're missing Peter, Nema, and Jenks.
I stopped sharing my screen so I could see the people showing their screens.
Well, okay.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
That's
fair
cool.
Enough.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop sharing now too, since I was the first one.
So
stop sharing.
Harvey.
So we're looking at Harvey here, and he's conveniently got his name up on the screen. Thank you for that.
There you go. So I found this reference. And I thought it was pretty cool looking, so I tried to do that. And this is what I got. So I kind of ended up with more of a procedural thing. So it's kind of going for more like a coral reef type look. Pretty simple stuff. I made that just by starting with the circle, dropping down some points to scatter. Then I took a box and some spheres, scattered some points on the boxes, then added more boxes to them. I just wanted to get a good shape so that we could go into VBB and have something that we could smooth down to a workable, cool little shape. We're working really heavy, but it's whatever. So at this point, I did this little delete to make sure that no points and shit like that from the bottom would come up again when we scatter. So this is to make sure that everything that we drop on top of it doesn't go on the bottom and turn into a big ball. And then we had over here with the tube, which was meant to be like the funnel cones. We had a bunch of settings here that we had exposed from the bin stop. I But this part was just a little bit static. I could have bent them around, oriented them, and so on. And then I just went to the rest of the chain, VDB'd them back together, and then poly reduced, and then did some extra color stuff with what the time I had. And that's what I got.
It looks
Excellent.
great. Yeah,
Great job.
Great. Very nice.
Really cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's super cool.
Okay, Nema.
All right, Nema.
Let me turn sharing back on because I was watching. Okay, so yeah, I mean, growth systems are one of my favorite things. So the sci-fi plant, I started to try and do something with find shortest path, and I realized I didn't have a plan, so it was a risky plan to do the growth solver because I didn't know if I'd have enough time to do it. I wanted to had some other plans that I didn't have time for, like having it grow into a specific shape, or like just do something abnormal, because right now it's just kind of a plant. It's a strange plant, but I didn't really get to put the sci-fi part in there. So I was basically racing the clock to build a growth solver, and I finished, but yeah. I didn't really get to add anything.
It's got a great look, yeah.
Looks so cool. Yeah.
I tried to just make the wander direction very noisy and high frequency so that it would look a little otherworldly.
Do they actually intersect or not?
What's that?
Do they actually intersect or not?
They can intersect, yeah. They can. It shouldn't happen too much, but it'll definitely happen because one of the rules in there is based on density, like how crowded it is. So
What?
You want to share your screen again?
Isn't it still sharing?
It's sharing.
I see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
So that's the density attribute being visualized there. So you can kind of see like the darker areas, there's no more branches growing out of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the point cloud was for. Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go. Really cool work.
Yeah, very neat. And it looks weathered almost, like it's been windblown for a long time. It's got a very biological kind of look.
Yeah, sure. That was on purpose.
So cool.
Very cool.
Okay, Jinx.
All right, let me share my screen again. All right, so I kind of drew out my inspiration. I didn't really go online. I looked up like some tentacles and stuff, but basically what I tried to go for was like a plant that was just made of tentacles, right? So the can was just simple modeling stuff, right? Like I took the can, just took some design, made into VDBs, and then subtracted the rings to get the little shape. And then also I file cached everything. Maybe it wasn't good to do that, but I was racing at the time.
The source of the crash there.
Maybe.
Yeah, crashing a VDB. If you can avoid it, it's probably better.
And then I just did a dirt with like some, for the inside, I just clipped the can geometry and filled it in, right? And then the tentacles is basically where I spend most of the time doing, right? So what I did is I took the dirt top and I scattered some points, and I chose what points I wanted, and I drew a curve. And after modifying the points, I went into this little HDA, and I took that curve geometry, smoothed it out. I smoothed it out, right? Gave it some normals with the poly frame, and then I modified the point scale with the ramp. So when I took the circle geometry, that I modified into shape, and I skinned it, right?
Wow.
But I gotta say, that should be a sidefx labs
That's
node
great.
now.
We were admiring
definitely. Sorry.
We were admiring the topology on the tentacles. They look terrific.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good.
And I grabbed just the point, right? And when I promoted that to the group primitives, I got this inside, which I was able to scatter points directly on there. And it didn't work entirely as I wanted to, but I tried to get the little like suction cup geometry and scatter that onto the tentacles, right? The thing was that I really wanted to avoid intersections and just spam a lot of this in here. But if we bump it up, my intersection wasn't reading properly, my intersection analysis, I told it to on each iteration that if it read intersection, then it will go to nothing, right? So if anything was intersecting, they wouldn't merge. And but that didn't work out too well. So too much geometry gets kind of weird. But besides that, I have a high res and a low res so that we can I can stay into this low res version, right? Why is it? Oh, we can stay in this low res version and still like modify the stuff, right? So it's just like a little tool.
Really interesting. It's a great way to work.
Really nice work. Awesome.
Can I point something out that you for the intersections? If you go back to your scatter, you can go to the second tab there at output attributes and check the P scale, the radius attribute box. It's the fourth one. So now they're probably way too small, but if you scale up your suction cups so that they're like 1 in unit scale, like they won't be overlapping. It basically, the scatter makes a P scale attribute so that if you were to copy spheres to those points, they would be sized properly so that they never touch.
So using the P scale output from the scatter node to keep the things far enough apart that they don't intersect. That's really interesting.
Yeah, you can use the thing that you're copying has to be, the size has to be like 1 cubic unit.
It expects it to be unit sized.
Yeah, so that's why it's disappearing, is because it's probably too small. But,
it's a good tip.
Okay.
You can use the axis align thing to make it unit size too. That's what I was actually using for. So that's that's a really handy thing about that.
The sidefx tool.
Yeah.
Tool.
So
the labs tool.
For some reason, I updated the tool set and it just wasn't going. So
you did all that without labs. Oh my god.
You can also use match size. Match size will make it unit scale.
Match size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On here or here?
On the left. On the left, you check the scale to fit box and do uniform scale.
Well, I guess they're more section copy than
you just want to set it to uniform scale. Well, why is that one giant?
Looks like a jet engine.
Oh, that's the original. That's the original.
Okay.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, Peter.
Yeah. Just a sec. I'm going to share my screen. Let me get back to it. Where is that button?
Oh, wait a minute.
What the heck?
There we go.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find out
no
where it is.
Can I read Japanese? That's okay.
Where is that Zoom window? Damn it.
You guys like my background? I put a lot of effort into it.
It's under view options, I believe, is zoom ratio.
Just a second, guys. That window just disappeared.
No problem. Take your time. And just to get, while you're doing that, everybody, I want you to look at your participants, the manage participants, where you see all the participants. There's a yes and then a no button. We're going to vote soon. And just make sure you know where that yes button is, because this is the audience awards time after we see Peter's.
Yeah, we have to know who won. And that's up to the audience.
Hey,
what,
Brian.
voting for best commenter?
All right, let's see.
There we go.
Is it working?
Nice.
All right, cool.
Standing Juntaro.
What's that?
We can see. Oh, Peter finally is.
Yeah. So let's maybe start with the inspiration, right? So basically, I went looking for some images. So I liked this overall like tentacly kind of thing, and then plant was like, well, gotta have a Venus plant, right? These plants are so cool. Then I knew that in order to get this to be from organic to sci-fi, I wanted to do something with pipes. So you'll see in a moment I've replaced the teeth with like pipes. I thought, these are like a multitude, even though technically it's supposedly one plant, right? So there's multiple of these guys. And then I knew that I wanted to do something either with paneling or something with, I don't know, like all of this sort of greebling or something like that, right? So that was the thinking behind it. And so we ended up with this, right? I kind of did spend a little time coloring it too, just because I thought, well, you know, it's kind of nice. I was figuring out, I find at some point you run out of time in terms of what new stuff you can add. So then it's kind of like, well, let's get everything to sort of the same level. So let's dive inside of this. This is my network. So, which is, I mean, for those who know me, this is okay. But, all right. So where do we start, right? I mean, basically, we start with creating over here the head, right? So the head I built using a circle, which I am modifying sort of, you know, semicircle. Then I'm scaling it down over here. So there's different layers of scales that are happening. This is going to be, again, sort of to do the skinning. I'll hide everything else for just a second. So
I can't
here,
see it.
It's there.
I just see Zoom in Japanese writing.
There's another window. It's hidden. You'll find
go to
it.
view options.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Apologize. Carry on.
Alrighty, so basically then I skin the thing, notice that the geo is okay, you know, it's fine. I'll turn on my wireframe. So here, we're gonna smoothen that a little bit, subdivide that a little bit. I like using magnet subs with metaballs to sort of deform geometry. You know, it's quite a nice little trick to sort of not have to manually select everything. Then the mountain sub just to sort of, you know, randomize it a little bit and break up that surface so that it's not quite so uniform. I think this is the coloration. So the coloration is pretty straightforward as well. Notice that I'm in unit space. So, you know, 1, -1, positive, -1. Therefore, I can use the distance. So over here, I'm using the length of the position just to feed into a ramp into the color. Then after that, we are going to start. I mean, this isn't how I work in the sense that I'm going to maybe talk about how I work rather than how I am adding stuff. Because for instance, here, detailing is starting to get added, right? But this is the last step that I did. So in a way, you should almost say, well, okay, I'll go over it, but that's not how I work. I work by doing the big steps first. So the detailing comes later. So, all right, what do I need then? I was thinking I need the teeth. And I knew I wanted pipes, right? So a typical pipe shape is sort of an L shape. So I built a little L shape over here. So again, we're at the origin. Notice that the way that this pipe is built is actually important. It's a little hard to see maybe, but here, 0, 1, 2. So when we actually make a little L shape out of that, it is aligned already with the Z axis, right? This is going to be important because I'm going to use that to scatter onto it, and the alignments for this stuff is important. All right, so then resample it, and we're going to smoothen it so that we get the rounded corner. And then I can use it. This is such a useful node, orient along curve. It builds my up vector and my normal for me. I'm going to also do the skinning, right? So build my my curve over here, skin. The normals are inverted, so reverse it and polyfill it to have the caps on the side. Then we can shade that again, same system, right? It's again sort of in unit space, right? 0 to 1. And then we can copy that onto our head. So here I'm bringing the head, right? But which curve should I select? Well, I already have my curve from the very beginning, right? So I can go grab that curve. We're going to resample that a little bit so that we have less detail, right? So resample that down. Then I can transform it down, and we're going to ray it onto our head. So here's the head geometry that's coming in, right? So we're going to ray project that onto the head. This potential, I could have inherited the surface normals, but I didn't. So I was, you know, kind of playing around with these normals over here. So I've got up vectors and normals. Initially, I was like, well, they kind of need to sort of point outwards. So I was doing the cross product, but ultimately I didn't end up using that over here. Instead, use the up vector, the yellow ones, because the teeth are basically pointing down anyway. So I could use that. Attribute randomize so that it's not quite 100%. So now I'm going to hide the yellow one, and my normal is going to be my direction vector. So then my normal, randomize that a little bit more, right? But this is like way too random, right? That would cause problems. So I'm going to blend. I'm going to do literally a very cheap way of blending, which is a mix, right, between the two. It's not really an accurate way of blending normals, but it's fine. Normalize the result and shove it into the normal. So that gives me, you know, slightly waggly teeth, right? And then attribute randomize P scale by 0.6. So, and then also I like to sort of map between 0.5 and 1. This is actually a mistake here, but I guess whatever, you know, it should be 1. It doesn't affect it. It'll still work. See? So yeah, so there's all my teeth, my pipes.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm going to merge it in with the head, right? So then, here's the entire head that comes in with its detail. And then here we're going to merge in the pipes. Great. So now I've got one side of the head. So eventually, later on, right, you can kind of sort of see I have sort of a null. If I were to bypass this section of the network for a second, we're basically going to just rotate that head around. Oops, I guess I already merged that in. I'll just bypass that for a second too. So basically, here, I just want to use that head that I have right now, right? So, and then rotate it around and pose it a little bit so that it'll do its thing, right? So that's what I want to do there. On the other side, I wanted to, so again, all of this stuff here in the middle is detailing, right? So what am I doing here? We're going to see there's going to be some tentacly stuff that comes in that's fun to work with. And then also some, I don't know, bubbles on top of the tentacly stuff.
I like that.
So we'll talk about that in just a moment, but that's not how I worked. The next thing that I wanted to do was the stem of the plant. So again, the stem is a huge tube, right? So I took my tube, so I copy paste portions of my network. So I've got a tube over here, reorient that, make it a lot bigger, and so there is my tube now. So this is going to become the stem of my plant, so we can resample this. Now the smooth isn't powerful enough to do a proper sort of smoothing, so I'm using the delta mesh instead with a lot more iterations. So this is like the big brother of the smooth. So this thing is awesome. So resample that to get a bit of a cleaner shape. And then we're going to do attribute VOP over here, which is, this is going to modify using the curve view. So a curve view is coming from the resample. So if you output the curve view, you're going to get a nice 0 to 1 gradient attribute. And this is going to be remapped in between a ramp, a global multiplier into p-scale. So that's to make sure that the radius eventually is going to, over here, be varied, right? It's going to not be so clean. Same thing, skin, reverse. And then we're going to start here. I was like, should I use the sci-fi panel tool? And I was like, oh, it's not cheating, but I felt it was, so I didn't do it. So basically I built my own. So kind of, I mean, not as clean as this thing, but this thing is pretty cool. So anyway, attribute randomize, this will, again, same thing, p-scale. Notice that because I made a normal over here, these points that are scattered are going to inherit the normals of the points, right? Therefore I have point orientation. So if I then copy some of my sort of flat grids, notice again, these grids are aligned with the z-axis, so they'll work proper. These are my panels, my sci-fi panels. And then this is going, 0.1 here, it's pretty small, and then we're copying that onto all of the other stuff. Now this is obviously intersecting a lot, so I'm gonna do another round of this. So again, same deal, we're gonna do normals, we're gonna scatter a lot more of them now, and then I can peak offset them if need be. Don't know actually if I ended up using that, doesn't look like it. Please scale them down even more. And so now I've got even more, but notice they are aligned along certain, they're aligned along those parent grids, right? Because they're basically doing that. So that's sort of my greebling that's coming in, and then feed the entire system through a color system, right? So that's basically what we're doing. And then I was like, well, it would be nice to have a central core. So I, again, branched off here at the top and, same thing, but just for a central core. So this is just to fill out the interior so that it's not quite blocking anything. I ran into a little issue here. You'll see it. It's kind of like normals, right? So this is, unfortunately, I mean, this would work for this, right? So now it looks good. Now we have vertex normals onto everything here. We don't necessarily have vertex normals onto everything here. So if I merge that in, that's what I undid at the very end. So because, when my head comes in, everything is black because this stuff now doesn't have normals anymore. So it's like, too bad, just gotta turn it off for just a moment. So let's talk about the head for a second. Oh yeah, and then layout, right? I thought, well, again, it's not really one plant, it's multiple plants. So what I like doing as well for layout here, I've got a few of these guys, right? So is a circle. This is my sort of area of scatter some points onto that. So here's my points. Then we're gonna attribute randomize those. Again, the normals. Notice these normals, right, are pointing in all directions, so that's problematic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten them. So just bring in the normal to vertex floats, and then, crap, I actually took the wrong one. Didn't even realize. Whatever. I took one of the, this should have been that, but whatever. Anyway, so that's because it's only such a small amount anyway, they are going to, it'll be fine. The normalization will be fine afterwards anyway. But so here, oops. Oh, I guess one, maybe it did matter. So here, we'll do that there. Whatever. So anyway, so let's keep going. And then, so the part that we haven't covered yet is the top bit. This is actually quite fun too, sort of the, you know, like the curvy bit on top. So we took that head and so here's the head. We're going to do a sphere fitting algorithm. So what's it say? Am I still live?
Yeah, you are. You're just lagging a little bit, but you're good.
Oh, okay. So here's the sphere. So it's a NURB sphere. That's going to be important because we're going to creep on this. So basically, I rayed it around my object. And then here, so creep works in UV space. So that basically means that any lines that I copy over here in the 0 to 1 UV space will eventually get crapped onto this surface. So they're going to be, you know, if we look at the null by itself, right, they're literally just going to sort of sit around that shape. Right. Now I wanted to have a few lines in UV space. Then I was like, all right, now we're going to start playing, right? So basically, I can resample these down. We do a point jitter for the low resolution motion. We resample them up. We add a lot of detail to these guys, and so now we have more detailed creep operations. Now they are going in world space now. So the next step is going to be converting this to NURB. So we've got more organic shape to them. Then we're going to resample all of this. I don't actually this is. We didn't need to smooth, but it's part of the other network. Then I did oriental on curves again. We're going to turn them into tubes again, but we have a problem because if we're not careful, then the skinning operation, right, would have happened like this entire network. If I didn't do this, right, it was like this, right? And so we have all of this crap going on because the skinner thinks that this is one huge piece of geometry, right? So it's kind of like, it thinks that all of these ends are connected. And obviously they're not, they're individual primitives. So we're doing it for each based off of the primitives. And then that solves it. Obviously it's not too fast to do that, but here, boom, all of my curves are there, right? The last thing that I'm doing also is here, the lateral develop, that's a randomization of each of the p-scales globally. Notice I can do that because I'm dealing with NURBS curves. So my primitives over here are based off of the NURBS curves, not polygons, right? So that means I only have, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 9 primitives. So if I do my randomization and my seed is based off my primitive number, then I can just randomize it, and just remap it. I like doing the remapping between 0.3 and 1. And then, yeah, that goes into p-scale. And so the p-scale will eventually get picked up by copy points, the circle, and so on. All the other stuff is the same. So this is going to go out as one other element. So here we have a new element now. So got to shade it, same trick. Difference here is I'm doing distortion. I'm adding turbulent noise before I'm doing the lookup of the length. This is going to give me a more noisy, broken up pattern rather than a radial outward pattern. But the rest of the fit function and the ramp is the same. Notice this shading thing, I reuse it again all over the place. So then the scatter node over here, just same deal, just more detail. Maybe it would be nice to merge these two together, turn them into a VDB, one connected mesh, that kind of thing. But again, for speed purposes, VDB is slow, right? So I kind of want to stay away from that. All right, so now I've got a proper head. Then we merge the head upside down with it, and then we merge it. Oh yeah, we also extract out. There's one thing more that is kind of important. That head is currently living at the origin. I need to put that somewhere. So this is kind of nice. Out of my master curve for my stem, I want to go grab that end bit. So you can use over here with the group range, you can use the end. You can use count from the back and say invert the range. And so that, I
like that.
Yeah, that's nice to be able to extract that because it's easy to grab number 0, right? That's easy, but it's not that easy to grab whatever the last number is. So with group range and grab the end and invert the range and you have it. So basically now we have this. This inherits all of the normals. So I already have my normal over here, right? So that basically means as I copy, I can basically just grab my thing. I do put a transform here. This is just for basically, rather than p-scaling and an orient and all that, I'm basically just, you know, positioning it here. And this is more like layout work. Then we're bringing that all together, right? And yeah, copying it. And that is my little setup.
Beautiful. Very
awesome.
Nice. Yeah, super cool.
I wish it was, in a way, I wish it was in lobs.
In lobs?
Yeah, because you would have been able to show all the scattering and everything instant and everything.
Yeah, my lob skills are just beginning.
Nobody would do that in 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. In a context that isn't so stable either. So, you know, yeah.
Thank you so much. It's amazing. Wow. I love the greebles.
Yeah.
So, I kind of
Works so fast.
Did someone else try to do something while we were doing it? Just in case someone
like
made
an audience
another piece
member?
and we don't, they want to show it.
Oh yeah, good question.
Did anyone do that?
Did anybody else participate without us knowing?
Yeah, I think that was me. Yeah.
There was someone?
Yeah.
If you have, just show the screen.
Yeah, I heard about it, and I was just like, oh my God, this sounds crazy and fun. And so, but all the work you guys did looked freaking amazing. It looked awesome. And so I just tried it just for fun. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Go for it.
That's what we tried it for too.
Did we miss Danger Kitties?
No.
No, that was the first one. I was the first one.
Oh, I missed that one. Sorry.
You were probably still working.
So your screen is shared there. So
all right, let's look at Brian's.
You guys see it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing mine.
Yeah, like so 45 minutes is crazy, right? That's like, oh,
yeah,
work super fast. And so I was just like, okay, sci-fi flower, instantly thought like metal, electronic, and then I thought of those, you know, fingers from Ghost in the Shell, where they all like separate and stuff like that. And obviously this is like a 45-minute version of that. Like there's a lot of things super weird about it, all that, whatever. But I was just like, okay, it's done.
It's cool. I like the connections between the shattered sort of thing. It's really neat.
And congrats on doing animation. I mean,
the spiral motion's really nice.
Right?
Yeah, we're doing models, but yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because you're trying to like, you're doing the animation at the same time as you're creating it, just to like, you know, deal with time.
Right.
And so you're just like, oh, I wanted to do this, to do that. And then you're just like stacking it afterwards. Oh man. But oh my God, my heart was beating towards the end.
Oh, that's great.
It's really good. And I love the slow motion you're adding to it as well.
Oh yeah, the secondary animation.
Yeah, that was like last minute polish stuff, if you can call it polish with something like this. But yeah.
If it was shaded and rendered, it would look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you rendered it, it would look cool.
So now it's time. It's time for the audience awards. So please note you can vote for more than one. Okay, you don't have to choose your favorite. You can choose more than one favorite. So
what was the
so everybody goes
reactions, guys.
No. We're doing the yes button on the panel. When you go to manage participants, there's a yes. Does everyone see their yes little? It's a little green yes button with that like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the first person we're going to vote for is Danger Kitty. So whoever votes yes, go do that now. And remember, you can do more than one.
And we're not allowed to vote, right?
We didn't discuss. We didn't. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to vote.
I don't. I mean, but if everybody's voting, then I don't know. But like, yeah, I don't want to vote.
Okay, so
it's like it's like liking your own post on Facebook or something.
Yeah, I don't.
Not that I use Facebook.
Okay, great. We got 17
on MySpace.
For Danger Kitty. We got 17.
All right.
Okay, next is Harvey. So, okay, Harvey. It looks like we have almost a tie here. Okay.
It would have been good to see the piece, yeah. Oh, you shattered it. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't count because I did it afterwards while everybody was presenting. But
Borderlands. There you go.
Simple little anime shading.
Okay, so it looks like we got 19 for Harvey. Okay. Next is Jenks.
Oh.
So everybody vote for Jenks. Who wants to vote? Okay. And
okay. You gotta be careful because you have to remove your previous yes.
Yeah, you got to remove your previous yes if you're not voting yes. Hopefully everyone understands. Okay, great. We got 11. Okay, next is Nema. Good job. Okay, the numbers are still coming in.
You need like an old school computer sound, like.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do
Tallying all
that,
the votes.
Justin. You're good. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the number to settle down here. Keeps.
That's what the government is saying about COVID.
Okay.
We need the. It's Voldemort. You vote Voldemort. When we go live over the internet. Don't say that.
Okay,
'cause we'll take
18.
our video down.
18, okay.
And then next is Peter.
Where's that button again? Yeah. This one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, looks like we have a clear winner. Or Claes winner. Oh.
Okay.
Saw that coming.
Someone say no. Oh, okay.
I saw that coming. No, who voted no? This is like obviously the best one.
There was a no vote sitting there for a while. I think it was a goof.
Oh, goofies.
Okay, 32.
Goofies.
32 for Peter, and the winner is Peter.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah,
This
congratulations to
Thank
everyone.
you.
That was really cool. It was great to
Can't
see
believe-
everybody sort of like the creative energies kind of flowing. Very cool.
Yeah, thank
Wait.
you for the participation, everybody.
It's very fun.
I gotta
What
say,
about
as-
Brian? Does Brian get a vote too?
Oh,
Brian, you got to
for
come
the-
show that.
Ba-
Brian, get as a participant for the next
Brian.
one.
Well, there you go.
Oh, hell
Yeah,
no.
all right.
Hell
Join,
no.
join up.
Brian votes for
Stressful.
himself.
Okay,
We'll
everybody,
have more participants next time.
everybody take off your yeses, and I'm just curious, who would like to participate next time?
Oh,
And you can just,
Can I still participate?
Hand raise.
Do we have to be?
Or-
Can the same people participate still? Is there a limit?
we'll you know, we'll talk to the advisory team and get back to you.
So
bring it
guys,
up in
I got some reading up to do because I missed out on all of the action, right? It's kind of like when I'm in the zone, it's like, it's go, go, go,
We
go,
saw
go.
you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think my webcam, again, turned off, unfortunately. It like overheats or something. I don't know what it does. But I recorded it. So I recorded this thing. So if anybody, I'll try to put that on my YouTube and maybe talk over what I'm thinking or doing, so that if somebody wants to or missed this or wants to re-see it, I don't know what, yeah, then we can do that too.
I also recorded my screen, and I tried to, you know, go through everybody as well. So this will
So
be
do
up
we-
soon. Yeah.
do we have the
Commentary
audio
was
there?
funny too. I was
Yeah, I'd
listening.
love to see that.
Commentary was good.
Peter, that will be on my
Commentary was
recording.
great.
So I'll send it to you. I'm just going to edit a little bit in the
Sure.
beginning and the end, and I'll send it right away.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, everybody, for all your participation, the audience, the players, the commentators. We pulled this together so, you know, spontaneously, and it was super fun. So
I want to give a shout out to Deb. Thanks for pulling this all together and making it all happen.
that
It
was super
Yeah.
fun for me.
Well, not even
Debbie
done without
Deb.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Look out
It's fun for
Wednesday.
me. Fun for me too.
Here we come.
And we're on Discord, so you know, join us on Discord and chat with us, and we're there all the time. I'm Deb. I have the, you know, golden avatar, so that's me. And and we'll see you on Discord.
We'll see you on Discord.
The next
Yeah.
time, the next
Great
time
work,
that we
everybody.
do this, I'll try to comment. You know, I'll
Yeah.
do the
Commentate.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks so
definitely,
much,
Peter.
everybody, for coming.
Bye, everybody.
Awesome.
Good job.